Hi, this is Maria Lupita, psychic medium, and I'm going to do something a little bit different with this video. I stated in one of my last videos that I was going to hopefully do about a video a week, and that did not happen. And what I did instead was sit down and actually write out what I wanted to put into a video, and it turned out into an essay. So instead of putting together a video, I actually wrote and published an essay. And what I'm going to do here is just narrate it. It's a long read, and I know that a lot of people don't have a lot of time to read or write, and so I thought I would just narrate it for you. It's a topic that has to do with why people like me don't even think about coming out and being public with their abilities. I had a recent experience on a YouTube video comment that actually provoked a lot of these different thoughts and feelings and emotions, and which is the source of this essay. So I hope you enjoy. For those of you who are not able to listen to this video for whatever reason, it is also published, so I'm sure that you could translate it somehow, and I'll be sure to put a link at the end of the video. So I hope you enjoy. And this essay is entitled Dear Troll. So for those who believe no proof is necessary, and for those who don't, believe no proof is possible. Stuart Chase, writer, economist. So let me read that again. For those who believe no proof is necessary, for those who don't believe no proof is possible. Stuart Chase was a writer and an economist. So to ponder this quote, where do I even begin? We started watching Criminal Minds, one of the longest running TV shows with 325 episodes. We're only on season 1 out of 15 with 311 episodes to go. I am so hooked. This show glimpses the dark side of humanity, where things went awry, and it explores why. I'm fascinated with the field of psychology, what motivates people to do what they do and to be who they are. It is a condition of mine, a state of my existence, to instinctively look beyond just the actions of a person, but to see the soul, the source. Each episode of Criminal Minds begins and ends with a quote. I was curious, so I searched. I found the coolest website dedicated to all the quotes stated in the beginning and the end of each episode. Even though I have not gotten to this episode yet, this quote is one of my favorites. It has everything to do with my field of work. As a psychic medium, everything I sense, see, feel, hear, and know, it emanates from the in-between and the unseen layers of our reality. This unseen is challenging for some people to accept in a world where they have little faith or belief, yet they secretly hope for and want the hard, tangible proof. For fewer other people, if they themselves can't see it, then they assume it's impossible for others. They assume that because they can't or won't, it cannot possibly exist for anyone else. Therefore, those of us who do see must be crazy crooks, taking advantage of others. I was accused of this very thing through a comment made on my near-death experience YouTube video by a person that I don't know, and they certainly do not know me. It was a derogatory comment, one I had been waiting for and bracing myself for. I didn't know when it would happen, only that it would happen. It's inevitable and unavoidable. I know this. Through first-hand experience, I know the term troll, internet slang for a person who intentionally upsets people by posting inflammatory, aggressive, hateful comments. It's a type of insult, an internet vandalism, intended only to harm for their own gain or amusement. So this scenario is exactly what I meant in another one of my YouTube videos, where I stated my promise to always be authentic. In a few of my videos, actually, I share that I once was uncertain and really afraid to be public about what I can do because of people's perceptions and misunderstandings. See, I know the risk of putting myself out here publicly, in the public eye as a psychic medium, and sharing about incredible, out-of-this-world experiences. I'm more than aware that stating my abilities and sharing my knowledge, wisdom gained, and experiences is going to ruffle up a ton of feathers out there. Feathers of those who are flightless. For some people, if they themselves cannot do it, see it, feel it, or touch it, then it must therefore be impossible for anyone else to. They deduce that those of us who are brave enough to come forward and say that we have this must be frauds. There's no statistics available to show just how few of us are touched with this, because very few of us ever fully come forward. And here's another thing you may not know. We who truly have this don't ever start out wanting it. It is scary enough for us just having this and learning how to cope with it, much less using it publicly to help and for the benefit of others. I mean, come on. Have you seen Sixth Sense? The movie Insidious and Hereafter? There are components of those movies that are truth. So, to come out publicly is a massive choice. It doesn't just affect me, it affects my entire family. It's scary as hell for me to think that just a short 200 years ago, I most likely would have been one of the 150,000 estimated prosecuted people, and probably one of the estimated 5,000 who were executed in the Spanish Inquisition, formerly known as the Tribunal del Santo Oficio de la Inquisición. The Inquisitions occurred over a span of 300 years, so that's 3 centuries, and was barely abolished in 1834. And it would have been even worse had I lived in other European countries such as France, Scotland, or Germany, where witch hunts were more common, with an estimated 100,000 executions. And during the auto de fe, I may have mispronounced that, they commonly took place, and there most likely would have burned at the stake with so many gifted women and people. And so that auto de fe is a ritual of public penance. It's carried out between the 15th and 19th centuries, and it condemned heretics and apostates and imposed by the Spanish and Portuguese, or the Mexican Inquisitions, and it punished and enforced by civil authorities. Its most extreme death was by burning. So why do you think people like me stay silent and hidden, withering away? It's because of this long history of people like me being hunted and persecuted and even executed. Our condemnation still happens to this day. While I tried to stay hidden, I tried staying silent. All the while my spirit was dying and screaming for a voice. So hear me now, for I am here. If I can get over the need and the want of my own family's unconditional acceptance of me, then I certainly don't need acceptance of a stranger. I only need to accept and approve of myself, for we each have to answer for everything that we do, think, and say. Whatever we put out there will only ever come back onto ourselves. And this is the first principle that guides me. First, do no harm, for I would only be hurting myself. How is it that I dare to be so bold and blatant to say that yes, I can do this, and I will help humanity through it? Simply put, I've made peace with who and what I am. God knows my heart and my intentions, and that's all that matters. I have no fear, for I know where I stand, and I know how I show up in it. So, dear troll, thank you. And I'm not being sarcastic. I mean, I truly and sincerely and peacefully mean this. I thank you for getting this uncomfortable, negative experience out of the way so that I can just keep going. Thank you for showing me that I am no longer afraid. I know it's hard to accept what we do and understand, and that's okay. And to be perfectly frank, it's not my responsibility or my place to care or worry about what you think about me. I used to care, but thank God I don't anymore. I completely get it. I really do. I get that I cannot appear to be brilliant to some people without looking like a complete ass to others. Not everyone will like me. Not everyone will or should agree with me without checking in with yourself first. Everyone has free will and choice. Some may not be ready to hear what I have to say, and that's okay. But here's what's going to shock you. I'm a psychic medium. I do this work, but I too am a skeptic. Heck, our being discerning is a must. Not everyone who does this has the best of intentions. Man, have I experienced this, and I've heard stories of people who I've had the honor to work with. So we each must discern for ourselves. That is to feel it within. to look deep inside and then decide for ourselves, even when what we see, sense, or feel defies logic. Spirit and soul are not logical. They are felt. By their very essence, they are seemingly elusive and difficult to find or hold. Very few can tap into this, which is basically spirituality and practice. And it takes effort and will. And the existence of spirit and soul does not require your agreement nor your belief in it. They are a fact of our existence, whether you choose to acknowledge it or not. And as for me, I cannot imagine living life without infusing source in every function of my life. And when it's done consistently, you will feel it to the point that your life becomes what I call a living prayer. There's nothing else like it in this material world. This world of the unseen is like the very air that we breathe. We cannot see it. We cannot hold it in our hands. We don't even realize that we are totally submerged in it and that we are using it right now. Even as you are listening to this or reading this, you're breathing. But yet, here we are, and there it is, the invisible, completely functioning, fully on its own, without our need to try. It just is, and it does. And I am. So seeing the layers in between is a skill. It's an ability that we all can and should want to learn. To also see what is not visible yet felt. Because once you do, you will discover that there is so much more to our life story that can be deeper and richer than you can see with just your mere eyes alone. So may we learn to close our eyes that we may see. But here's one last note. Get into the habit of acknowledging and recognizing your growth. Becoming aware of how we habitually respond to people and to situations, it's a must, especially when we are trying to improve ourselves, learn a new habit, or maybe even get rid of an old one. How else are we going to know if we are evolving unless we are faced with the same unwanted experiences yet again? The difference to note is this. Did you respond differently, or is it still the same? So back in the day, let me just step back for a moment. In this moment, I acknowledge my growth. Back in the day, I would have lost myself an entire day, even days or weeks of binge watching TV, unmotivated and feeling lost. This want to shut down stemmed from an overworking for years that rebounded to the opposite extreme. Again, a life out of balance. So for years, I overworked only to be followed by years of not working. And these days, my binge watching now consists of maybe 2 to 3 episodes, watched maybe a few times a week, only after accomplishing something that I really want or have to do. My time is now spent in balance with work and play, rest and doing, watching and working, writing and reading. And the second thing is also, back in the day, I would have taken the negative comment personal. I was not yet fully accepting of myself, and I was desperately wanting and needing approval and permission. It would have lingered in my mind like poison, making me doubt myself. But today, I don't take your message personal, and it does not hurt me. I know who I am. I no longer feel like I'm drowning in a life not being fully lived. I no longer am afraid of what others think about me. And I don't judge you in this moment as you are judging me. I get it. I forgive you. Thank you.